Hello, welcome back to Geek Warning, the cycling tech-focused podcast from Escape Collective. I'm Dave Rome, and this week is nothing like every other week of the year. It is time for our annual Tech Awards, the GWAs, the very prestigious event. We're all dressed up for it, and we've got almost a full panel here. So let's do a round of introductions. Suvi, good to see you.
Good to see you too. Very dressed up.
We've got Josh Weinberg out of the US. Josh, how's it going?
Hey Dave, it's going well. It's great to be here all dressed up with all of you other dressed up folks.
Yes, loving the suede suit you're wearing. It's very
It's
nice.
wool, okay, it's wool. It's always wool.
And we've got another UK-based member, Alex Hunt. How's it going?
Yeah, it's going well, thank you. Almost time to get back on the mountain bike. Shoulders on the mend. So, yeah, things are looking up for me.
Yeah, you told me earlier in the week that you'd been climbing, which is not what you expect of someone with a shoulder injury. So that's positive
not
for
what
the
the
new
physio
year.
said to do.
Well, yeah, I hope it's feeling okay a few days later, but I'm happy for you. For those that are wondering where our Irishman is, Ronan McLaughlin, he's got his hands full at the moment. We're hoping he might jump on in a little bit when time allows, but for now we're gonna push on. We've got a long list of awards to get through. Some of them are fun. Some of them might upset others. Some of them are serious. And so, yeah, we're going to start with some of the positive stuff. And then by the time we get probably about midway through, we might start to get a little grumpier, a little bit spicier. And at that point, we might switch over to it being a member-only episode. So as a reminder, Escape Collective and everything that we do is member-funded. And for that, we need support of members. So yeah, if you're not already a member, please consider joining for the new year. Annual memberships give you access to everything that we do, and yeah, listening to our member-only feed on the podcast. We only just last week opened up the ability to use Spotify if that had been a barrier for you. So now you can access all that we do on Spotify as well. All right, let's get into this. I think we've got a good list ahead of us, but let's start with some of the more serious topics. Actual awards. Alex, I think you've got one here. The About Time Award. Who gets the About Time Award?
Yeah, I got to go back to, when was it? February when I went off to Spain for this one. But the About Time Award
feels
comes
so long ago.
Well, if you think that's a long time, you should see how long this product took to come to market. So, yeah, it was maybe 7 years in the making, I think, since the previous generation was released. But yeah, the About Time Award for me is Shimano's XTR Di2. Not only is it finally updated, but it's gone fully wireless, which is nice for Shimano to join the party.
Yes, I think there's no product more deserving of this award than Shimano's latest generation of Di2. So have we all ridden an iteration of this, whether it's GRX or XT or Dior? I'm seeing a lot of nodding. Okay, all right. Do we think it might have been about time, but is it enough?
I would say it would be more fitting if the About Time Award was coming 3 years ago than now.
Yeah, that's where my head's at. It's good stuff, but it doesn't feel like it's brought everything a step forward either.
I think having used it more since the product launch and having spent more time on SRAM's offering, I've just doubled down on my standing that it's good, but it does kind of feel a generation behind still.
Yeah, agree. All right. Well, yeah, the About Time Award, I think, Shimano can come up onto the stage and take the award from us. But the only other one that came to my mind that could potentially contend for this, and it's not at the same scale, is Classified's introduction of Shimano shifter Di2 shifter compatibility. So Classified had been on the market for 2-3 years maybe, and the shifter had remained like the real sticking point for Ronan and I in our review of that product, and them opening that up to other shifters that people might already have is pretty big news for that product. But yeah, a nice a second place finish for the About Time Award on that one. Speaking of drivetrains, we've got a Best New Drivetrain Release Award. Figured this should get its own award given how many new drivetrains we had this year. I think off the top of the list, there's Shimano XTR, there's XT, there's Dior, there's GRX, 2 versions of that as of yesterday. There's Campagnolo SR Wireless, and the gravel or 1x versions that followed recently. There's SRAM Force Axis and SRAM Force Rival in both Explore and Road versions. There was some limited edition stuff on the mountain bike side from SRAM. Rotor had shown its cards with its wheel top collab style wireless group set, and the list goes on. It was definitely a year of drivetrain releases. Thoughts on this? Who deserves this one? Who had the best new release? Most impactful? Subi, I might point it toward you because you had it in your favorites list. I think I did too, and I think Alex might have had it in his favorites list. So I'll get you to maybe call this one.
I listed this RAM Rival Axis E1. What is it called? Product family. So yeah, the updated Rival basically. I think you and Alex both listed the Force.
Yeah, we're a little fancier.
Yeah, I know you are in all aspects in your tuxedo. Anyway, but I don't think there's either. I think both Force and Rival, they both were great updates to the previous iterations.
Mm-hmm.
I think on the Force especially, it even trumps to some extent the red that already existed in the E1. Well, there's one thing, which is the bonus button, the kind of tactile feel that it now has on the Force is better, I feel, than on the red that already existed. But yeah, what SRAM did with trickling down the tech that was only introduced for the red, it's just amazing. I think it's changed a lot of how I ride bikes because I previously struggled with SRAM with braking, whether it was because of the brakes itself or whether it was just that I couldn't bring the levers back in enough or
you
whatever
pinch
it
your
was.
fingers probably.
Yeah, exactly. So it just made me more confident riding, and I think that's, if something, that is what you want from a group set.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so just on that, to explain what I just meant by pinch fingers is when you use the lever each adjust on D1 or D2 generation SRAM axis, so previous generations, if you brought the lever each in too much, you'd basically end up having the issue where the shifter paddle would pinch your fingers behind the lever, and so that was something that SRAM really tried to address in E1, and I think largely they did address it, so or greatly improved upon that element of it. But yeah, have any of you ridden the older SRAM brakes since spending a lot of time on the new stuff?
Yeah, because my tarmac's got old Rival, so when I'm not testing bikes, it's back on those. And yeah, I used to be okay with them. Like, they were never fabulous. But I used to be okay with them, and now they are catastrophic.
Yeah, Josh.
Yeah, I was gonna say, kind of. I've had a similar experience going back to that older generation after having, just like spending multiple days a week on the current like red that I have on my all road bike. It's like night and day. It's pretty amazing what they've done over the just a few years. But then like just those levers that I had on that Ritchie Septimer, they were the mechanical brake version of the Axis levers, the D1s. But I mean, just the ergonomics alone and how much that's changed is it's quite a bit, and it's really nice now.
Yeah, Josh, would you agree with the award then that SRAM's road mid-tier options deserve it, or do you have another suggestion?
I think so. Well, I was one that we haven't really mentioned, and I don't know if any of us even included this in our year-end product list, but Eagle, the Eagle 90 group, I thought was a wonderful release, and it's kind of flown under the radar a little bit as the years gone on, but I think SRAM showing their commitment to mechanical drivetrains was important, even though it's direct mount, so it, kind of excludes a lot of the older bikes that could have really used that. I think it was a good step for them.
Yeah. I mean, to show how much it flew under the radar, I didn't even mention it in my summary of all the new releases, despite having 2 bikes with it equipped here in my presence. And so I guess along that, it kind of was also, amongst all the wireless group set, it was also a year of the mechanical releases, because we also saw the likes of Ratio Tech and
Mm-hmm,
Madrone get into sort of high-end mechanical derailleur options, like widely compatible derailleurs. So I think that might be a trend moving into the new year. But yeah, it just feels like all I've been thinking about all year is one drivetrain to the next, and I think I've still got like 2 or 3 reviews waiting to go. So it seems like 2026 might continue that trend. But yeah, all right. Well, yeah, I think we're in agreement on that one. SRAM Rival and SRAM Force E1 groups for the win on that. So well done, SRAM. Let's move on to bikes. We've got an award here for the coolest bike of the year, and it's actually a giant bike-sized trophy made of ice, which they get to win. Unfortunately, it may just be water by the time it ships, but anyway, it is quite the extravagant trophy. We blew the budget on this one. So yeah, coolest bike of the year. Who's got one of a bike that really stood out, that made an impression on you, whether you managed to ride it or whether it's just something you saw?
I can go first on that one. It's one that it was at the Made show, and I actually did not document it. I chose another bike from this builder, but it's recently popped up into my awareness recently because it's now kind of available to order, and it's called the Dead Reckon from Significant Other Bikes. Ashley King is the builder out of Colorado, and I think it's her first like production offering, but it's a full suspension titanium bike, short travel, 120 rear, 130 front. Just a really beautiful looking bike, and kind of a cool evolution of her small brand and company and offering this like full suspension bike for pre-orders. And it's titanium, which is like something that is pretty rare still in the realm of full suspension. So yeah, I thought that one, like, it really stood out to me at the show, and I've kind of like thought about it since, and kind of was like, yeah, I should have just documented 2 bikes from one builder, which is often like something that we try to avoid so we can spread our resources around at those shows. But yeah, super cool bike that yeah, I hope she does well with.
Yeah, I think I was at the first Made where Significant Other actually made a debut, and yeah, it's definitely a builder to watch. As far as the progression over 3 years is super impressive. So yeah, good chat on that. Alex, do you have a favorite bike?
I do. I haven't ridden it.
Okay.
But I'm also going to tweak the award ever so slightly and call it the Glow Up Award.
Oh, okay. I like it.
Yeah, because I feel like this new iteration of the bike has come on leaps and bounds, and I'm actually pretty excited to hopefully get on one at some point next year. And it's the new Giant Anthem. I think that has come on a long way from the previous generation, especially with the more trail focused kind of downcountry build as well. That's a really exciting prospect for a bike, especially for the terrain around where I live. So yeah, I'm really excited to hopefully see if that bike delivers on what I hope it can.
As someone that's ridden that and now has one to ride further, I agree with you in that. Yeah, I think Glow Up Award is a good thing to give it. I mean, it's the Anthem had spent more than a decade being somewhat boring and easily overlooked, and yeah, they've produced a bike that's truly competitive against the very best in the market. So yeah, I think it's very interesting bike that, and yeah, I'm eager to ride the test bike I just recently received, which is more of an entry level build, but with that same super duper high end frame that they have throughout the range. So Suvi, can you think of a bike that left you highly impressed?
To be honest, not one specific bike. No.
Okay.
I have been scratching my head the whole evening, like, what's my one cool favorite bike? The one that comes to my mind, which is totally not related to my work or anything, was when I was back home in Finland over the summer, and I was riding like an old Dutch style bike that I used to ride when I still lived in Finland. What I kind of learned to ride a bike with. That was
cool. Yeah.
Like, probably that pops in my head when I have to think about the cool bike, because I don't ride those kind of bikes anymore, and it just has a, what do you call it, even a foot brake, when you just
coaster brake.
Yeah, so when you push, you can't like pedal backwards.
Yeah,
you brake
yeah,
instead. Yeah.
Yeah, were you ripping big skids on it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, all the time to impress my niece and friends.
Sweet.
So, but yeah, there were loads and loads of, to be honest, this year I got to go to Bespoke Manchester, and there were some really cool custom bikes in Eurobike as well, at Eurobike as well. And I think those custom bikes are, if you really want a cool bike, yeah, I think they are the coolest, because you also get to talk to the builders about the stories behind the bikes. And I think that's one of the coolest aspects of a bike, is the story behind it. Similarly, the bike in Finland, it's like the memories with those bikes rather than the actual bike. The bike's rubbish, but it's it's cool in its own way.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know what it says of the industry that you picked an old Dutch bike as the best bike of the year, but we won't look too far into that. But yeah, I guess for me, and basically just following exactly what you just said, Suvi, is a bike I saw at Spoken in Sydney, which is the Australian handmade bike show, and for me that's it's often the first of those kind of shows on the calendar, and some of the Aussie builders are some of the more progressive and sort of pushing the boundaries and with technology. So yeah, being the first show, you often get a sort of glimpse of what other builders might bring to other shows later in the year. And yeah, for me, I think it's almost a tie. There's the usual favorites of Prova and Baum, both titanium bikes. But yeah, I think I might just split the award for both of them from myself, just because they both brought something quite unique. Prova had its titanium full suspension bike that they'd taken to Made in the US the previous year and won Best in Show with. But for the Australian show, they then had updated that model to be not just a front triangle that they had someone else's rear triangle on. They'd actually gone ahead and basically made their own rear triangle to match. And so it was like a full titanium welded 3D printed titanium front and rear triangle, full suspension with some really, really impressive details, like a long travel trail bike with, that, as far as I hear, is holding up extremely well. At the time of the show, Mark and Kelly Hester, who run Prova, they weren't sure whether that bike would ever see production. It was just like an experiment, but just a really, really coolly detailed bike with all sorts of very neat features. The other one, just Baum, brought to the show a 32-inch gravel bike, which I thought, again at the time was one of the first 32-inch bikes that we'd seen, and I thought just the execution of that was really interesting. Like, it was at a time where people were talking about 32-inch being the future, but no one had really seen one, and Baum sort of took the concept and thought it'd be a really interesting gravel bike, and sort of was quite progressive with that thinking. They had a modified Cannondale lefty on the front of it with like suspension limited, and they'd redone the air spring on that to make it practical. So I just think that they really like pulled out all stops on that bike. It was very unexpected, and I think even if they showed it at a show today, people would still be marveling at it. But I think it went a little unnoticed being at the Australian show. So those are the bikes. I mean, yeah, some of them may not be purchasable or highly accessible as you may have thought. But yeah, those are the bikes that we loved, and maybe quite telling of where our heads are at the moment. Next on the list, our favorite product of the year. We can only pick one. That's the rule. I won't divide my award into two. Suvi, I'll get you to go first here.
Well, I've started this already on the wrong foot with my coolest bike. I was chatting about this one with a friend. I was like, what have I been talking about a lot this year? Like, what's one thing that I haven't shut up about? And then he said running shoes. Let's not go with that.
The envelope is blank.
Like, why do I work at Escape Cycling Publication? Anyway, I think it has to be radars. And I think the most recent one that I haven't written about yet, the Design React radar. that connects. It's like a system with the front light. I think that has to be my favorite product of the year, because I spent a lot of time last winter testing radars, pretty much all the kind of major brand ones. And I think now, if there's one thing that I don't want to leave the house without, then that's a radar. So
okay. And so of the, I mean, you just mentioned the design. That thing is you're finding quite interesting. If you had to pick one radar right now, what's the one you're grabbing or recommending?
I think I would pick the design. It depends. If you want to pick, because I think it just works. The front light's brilliant, and then they work as a system. You don't need to rely on the computer, even though I would really never go without a cycling computer if I go out like on a ride, except if I commute. But then if I commute, I don't necessarily need a radar because I'm in an urban area. But the front light also flashes red at the back of it when there's a car approaching, or cars. So it's really handy because it's like a visual, colorful cue that there's something happening, instead of having to have, like, sometimes my computer would be on a battery saving mode or whatever. But it's just this very like visual cue that there is something coming. You don't need to listen to anything. You just see this red light briefly blink, and then there's a car coming. And it's been working well. Like, obviously that's really important, and a lot of the radars that I tested, they were just a little bit of a hit and miss, so then you couldn't really rely on their performance. But this one has actually, I haven't had, last week I had my first false positive and a false negative on the same ride, which was strange because I don't know what caused it, but yeah, so it's very, very minimal falses on this one.
All right. Well, it sounds like you're reviewing it. Is that something you will write a review about or share your thoughts on?
I will, yeah. Because I think I've mentioned it in my favorites of this year. I've now mentioned it here. But I'm testing it against the others, and I've got another new radar that I'm now including. So I might try to get them both kind of reviewed side by side against the ones that I already reviewed. So yes, it is taking a bit of time.
Yes. As the first radar review you did took, that was a lot of hours. So
yeah, but I learned a lot of things from that. Now I know the ways to test it.
Yep. Well, very good. I'm looking forward to that. It does sound like a very interesting product. Alex, what about you? What's left you impressed?
It's a cycling adjacent product, so it's not quite. We haven't gone to running shoes, but we're not too far away. It's actually a bit of photography equipment or videography equipment, because I've been very fortunate this year to go to a lot of lovely places and ride a lot of lovely bikes, and I often do that alone, and I can't share these adventures directly with friends and family. And historically, I've tried to use GoPros to show where I've been and the rides I've been on, and either the battery has been dead by the time I actually get to a part of the ride I wish I could have shown them, or the mounting system has let me down in some way, shape, or form. This year I took a punt a little bit on the Insta360 X5, and it has just made the whole process of just kind of capturing a ride for the sake of sharing it with friends and family very simple, and even myself has yet to manage to mess it up. So for that reason, it's probably my favourite product of the year, and I hope my friends and family are not yet bored of watching many multi-angle videos of me descending in the Alps.
They are. They just haven't had the heart to tell you.
Some of them have.
Okay. I mean, maybe members might want to see some of those videos, but at some point. So, I guess to tease, we're trying to figure out what escape video might look like in the future. So it's coming. We just need to figure it out for us, because giving away all that we do on YouTube doesn't really serve our business mission of being member funded. So anyway, just a tease, a little sidetrack there.
There we go. Everyone's getting sent an Insta360 video every day.
We can just force people to watch Alex's videos until they
until they stop asking for videos
to become members.
Josh, what about you? What's your favorite product of the year?
Gosh, it's a hard one, but I'm gonna go with Wolftooth's pedals, they're clipless pedals, or clip-in pedals, whatever whatever you want to call them. I thought that was a really cool release. I'm still enjoying them. I think a lot of us have written about them in multiple different ways and articles since they came out. And it's just a great product. The adjustability, repairability, and performance in that, more surface area for contacting with your shoes than other competitive models have had in the past for their weight. And
the adjustable Q factor as well.
Yeah, exactly. Adjustable Q factor is big time.
Yeah. There's a lot of unique things in that pedal, and I guess I agree with you in that. Like, in a market where there's a lot of same SPD alternatives, it was quite cool to see Wolftooth add a unique spin on it with like some real, like, obvious benefits, which I was not expecting. Like, I wasn't expecting their pedal to kind of beat like an XTR in terms of like the stats around it, like the stack height and the weights and all that, while adding other features. So it's impressive. I think it's still early days to see how some of like the aluminium bodies wear and all that, but but the fact that they're fully rebuildable as well softens that. So
they're also in some more adventurous colors as well. So if you're a bit fed up of black or gray, the Wolftooth ones probably have you covered.
I still haven't tried these pedals. I assume all of you have.
Yeah, we'll need to try find you some to try out, Suvi.
The award for the product that I do look forward to trying out 2026.
Actually, a question for you, Josh, for the podcast. Which pedal have you been using, and which one have you enjoyed the most out of the range? Because I think you've had, is it the Control and the Delete?
Yeah, really both of them. I've got the Control on. I've been swapping those around. That's the trail pedal.
Trail-ish pedal. Yep.
Yeah, I've been swapping those around to mountain bikes. So it's been on 2 review bikes, and then I'll throw them on another that single speed that I wrote about too, the Starling full suspension single speed. So I'm kind of rotating them around, and then I've got the Deletes on a gravel bike currently, and that's
the Deletes are the one-sided.
Sorry. The Alt, then it's the Alt. I'm
the Alt
confused.
Is the
two-sided cross country. That's right. Yeah. I have not tried the one-sided.
I have, and they're probably my least favorite. I haven't tried the Control, the trail version, but the Alt, which I think Alex you gave as a favorite product in your favorites list. That's probably the one that most people I think will be most interested. That's kind of like the closest competitor to like an M9100, M9200, like XTR kind of XC pedal. That's been really interesting. I would say one request while I have the platform is from Wolftooth. There I saw a lot of comments on the earlier review I wrote. A lot of people saying like, "Oh, the adjustable Q factor is awesome, but I want even wider." I my bike fitter wants me on wide spindles, and it'd be awesome to have like a great SPD option here without needing spindle extenders. And so my wish for Wolftooth is make a longer spindle, which then gives people the option to upgrade and have a genuinely good SPD product with super wide spindles that you can crash yourself out of if you ever try to pedal through a corner with them. So I think that's a market opportunity that Wolftooth is like so near to, because they've already got that adjustable feature. They just need that wider spindle to go with it. So hopefully they can make that happen. For me, my favorite product of the year is kind of an unassuming one, a simple one, and one that probably not really going to change how people ride bikes, but it's the click valve. It's the little valve inserts. It takes the place of a Presta valve core or a Schrader valve core or a Dunlop valve core, and it basically gives this little new valve that's then interfaces with its own pump head, and it literally, it's called the click valve because the pump head just clicks on and off of it, and it doesn't change how a tire holds air or how a bike rides, but it sure does, for me, I think, fix some of the fundamental barriers for a lot of people cycling, where like, how do you use the valve and how do you connect the pump and how do you not bend the valve core like I see many experienced cyclists still doing. And for this, it it really does improve that sort of pump head interface. You're no longer having to get fancy high-end pump heads to solve a long problem of Presta being a tough one to seal against. It's just this tiny little pump head that just really creates this super easy interface. So I think that's a product we're going to see more and more of in as time goes on. And I still owe everyone a full deep dive review on that, which I'm working on. So
was it on the click valve? Was it Lesign that did the pumps, and were there other brands that launched pumps with the click valve already installed?
So originally it launched under license with Schwalbe and SKS out of Germany were the two original licensee brands. So SKS were the first to have pumps and pump heads. But since then, I think it's now at a year, and probably that 1 year exclusive license is my assumption has ended. And so now we've got Wolftooth now make like pump heads for their mini pumps. Lesign just released their full range of like valves and pumps. There are Click themselves have now released a full range of products and is becoming the more prominent offering there. So yeah, there's a growing number of options, and I guess my favorite part of this system is that it doesn't lock you into using the pump head. You can still use a Presta style pump head on these to inflate the tire in a pinch. It's just it does create some complications over how like accurate the pressure reading is, but there's no problems getting air into the tire with a regular pump. So I think that would have been the barrier that ruined the system otherwise, if you had to have a click valve pump. But yeah, they haven't forced that. So it's some very, very smart, simple design there.
Wolftooth also they're doing click valves, stems, and the adapters for their in-case pumps too. So that's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah. So yeah, and I think that brand list will just grow and grow. I think we're seeing a few brands. I know Silk has been doing some content around click valve and how they can you can use their products with click valve, and I really wouldn't be surprised if Silk could join the fray with offering native click valve stuff. Pumper, the Australian brand's another one that's been doing it. So. Speaking of new products, Ronan McLaughlin has joined the fray. Ronan, we're actually not that far through the list yet, but we're currently talking about our favorite products of the year. Is that one you might have an addition for?
Pass.
Okay, let's. Ronan always on brand, unwilling to pick a favorite. So, well, you've arrived just in time for us to talk about our most read tech articles of the year. This isn't so much to just gloat about what we do, but I guess to talk about some of the bigger trends that have hit our site, and what we hope people been thinking about as a result of, or vice versa. So let's have a look at this. So first, most read tech article, which also happened to be our most read article on Escape Collective, came from someone who's not actually a tech writer. Kaylee Fretz took the medal here with his article about Trek and Specialized announcing that their prices are going to go up in the US as a result of tariffs. Suvi, you're our industry reporter. Tariffs took up a lot of your time this year.
Did it not take this time to write this great article? I thought you were going to ask, why did I not write this? No, tariffs did take a lot of my time, and I think we've got an award for those as well coming up.
We do.
Don't know if I'm going to say much more about it, but I think if we're speaking about this article specifically, I think this one was the first one. It was mid-April, so it was a couple of weeks after the initial tariff announcement had come out. The nice card that President Trump was showing to everyone with those numbers. And I think this was the first announcement from big brands that they are going to raise their prices because of tariffs. So it was obviously an impactful story.
Yeah. I think being able to put Trek and Specialized in the same headline never hurts for people clicking on something and looking at it. So yeah, that was a big story. Second place most read goes to me. My story on counterfeit chains, Shimano counterfeit chains, where I actually recruited Adam Kieran of Zero Friction Cycling to actually wear test a bunch of real and fake chains against each other, and then also strength test them. That one ended up being quite well read, and I think it is a pretty important topic. I think more people need to know that there are counterfeits in the market, and that they're not as good, and that they're in some cases potentially even just dangerous. So I hope that article highlighted that, and I think just a reminder to people, just don't buy a Shimano from like AliExpress or Temu or even Amazon. I'm going to say you need to be really careful because there are counterfeits sneaking in through what you assume to be safe places to purchase. So just be wary of that. Third place had a lot of competition around it. There was many tech articles that were right around that number. But Ronan, you got third place for an article, which was your coverage of Ineos having no bikes for 2026.
Which they did actually have bikes.
And in the end, they just kept their current bikes.
Yeah. Was not wrong at the time.
No. There was quite a uncertainty over that. There were very strong rumors of what was it, Scott was looking to swap.
Let's not go into the rumors, because ultimately they were just rumors, weren't they?
I guess so. Yeah. So in the end, Ineos
some progressed beyond rumors, but never actually came to fruition, and in the end of Pinarello stayed. So that's really all that matters, isn't it?
Yeah. So Pinarello has two teams for next year. They have Q365, which is still Pro Tour, is it?
Well, the second tier, whatever that's called these days.
Yep. And then Ineos will stay on Pinarello, which is not what we had expected based on everything that was being heard and discussed at that time. So anyway, there you go. Biggest stories of the year. And,
if we had waited another week, perhaps Tires could have saved me the embarrassment of you bringing up Pinarello have no bikes again.
I think Ronan's 9-month project of figuring out a test for testing tires.
If we take it by the metric that we actually look to within Escape, which is conversions, it's only Wade's Jersey article is currently ahead of it on that list, and it's in terms of tech articles, and it's chasing it down pretty rapidly. So in a week, it's performed pretty well.
Yeah. So the theory with what Ron just mentioned there, conversions. The idea is if an article is good enough to bring in a new member, then it's good. It's going to please existing members as well. So it's a number we look at. We also look at sort of community involvement. Like comments on articles. So page views are actually pretty low down our list of stats we look at.
Well, it's not likes. We have it like, do we do a good job?
A voting system. Yeah. So, so I'm probably a little incorrect in using page views as a metric here, given we don't actually typically use page views as a metric. But
it's some form of PTSD, isn't it, Dave? You just can't shake the page views days.
No. Yeah, there you go. But most read stories, we'll call them. All right, let's move on to biggest industry stories. Or biggest industry story. Suvi, we just kind of hinted at this. What was it?
I think we revealed it as definitely tariffs. So for the last 8 months, I think I've spent a considerable amount of time writing about different tariff developments. And a lot of it has been quite, I don't know what word I would use, sad at times. Speaking with especially smaller brands, I've spent a lot of time speaking with many business owners who are really struggling this year. And I think, don't know which one it is. Is it dictionary that always chooses, the word for the year, the one word? And I think for cycling industry this year, it would be uncertainty. There's so many articles. There's every single chat that I've had with brands. It's always included the word uncertainty because things have changed almost every week for A lot of, especially US brands, but global brands as well, trying to import their products into the US.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I and it was so turbulent. I remember the early days. You'd write a story, and then by the time it was ready for edit, 2 hours later, you needed to change it again. Yeah. It was just yeah. So unfortunately, that has been an overwhelming theme. And while I'd say it is specific to the US, I'd say the lasting effects of that have been felt through the bike industry. Like I've heard reports of container ships being turned around from the US based on the tariffs and being sent to other markets that then flooded other markets and had a real impact on like the Australian market of oversupply of bikes that then had to be cleared out through the Australian market. And, that affects all of the competitors and all the retailers. And so yeah, certainly there's been flow-on effects of the uncertainty there. So hopefully some more stability in 2026.
The Oxford Dictionary chose rage bait as its word of the year, which seems appropriate for this topic as well.
Yeah, it does seem. If we go back to, I just noted on our terrorist-related most read article, it was not only Kaylee who wrote it, Josh. It's a shared byline. So Josh was representing the tech team there.
Apologies, Josh. Please come up on stage. I'm so sorry.
No. Okay, that was majority Kaylee, but yeah, we went back and forth on that one a little bit.
Well, yeah. Dare I say the biggest stories of next year will look quite different. I know we've got some big plans and more of the stuff that we know people love, like a lot of product comparisons are going to be a big theme for us. So.
It's just all tire testing, I thought, right?
Yeah, all hands on deck for helping Ronan ride his bike at midnight.
I think next year's going to look very similar. Like tire testing is going to stick around. We're going to have comparisons again, and more than likely, we're going to be talking about tariffs still.
Oh yeah.
So,
and I'll probably spend 2 months testing electric mini inflators again
with click valve adapters.
now compatible with click valve. Yeah.
Well, you can pump up Ronan's tires for him.
Yes,
can. Yes. So yeah, it's a full.
Have you not read the article, Josh? I pump them down for accuracy.
Right. Well, of course.
I pump them down.
Well, I think those pumps can do that too. Negative pressure,
especially if they're leaking. All right, let's move on to the next award. We've got we didn't see that coming. Josh, I'm going to throw this one over to you. What do you think is the deserving winner of this?
Yes. This one was kind of a fun one, and I don't think anyone saw it coming, but SRAM released a shifting update for their Axis Eagle derailleurs that allowed them to basically just shift faster. And it was interestingly timed with like kind of following the release of Shimano's new mountain bike group sets that people were talking about favorably in that they shifted pretty fast. And so it seems like maybe, I don't know, but SRAM wanted to join the party, and now their derailleurs can shift faster. And so that was a nice update and something that I didn't expect to see.
Yeah, so that was it's for their full range of transmission access, and it did feel very reactionary to Shimano, because Shimano released its Di2 wireless, which we spoke about earlier, and probably the big compliment everyone had for it was, it's so fast shifting, and this is the one thing that it solves that transmission wasn't ideal at, was just its slow shifting. And so SRAM was like, here, hold my kombucha. And so I think it was a good update. I think also for me, it felt like it came off the back of SRAM's mechanical, the T90, where they showed that like you could actually shift across that cassette faster than that they'd allowed previously. The T90 does allow like a double click,
right? And there wasn't like a use case reason to limit that speed for like shifting under load or any of the other aspects that system is supposed to do well. So that was cleared up a lot of open questions, I think, about how that actually functions.
Mm-hmm. Does anyone else have a product or similar thing for they didn't see coming?
I did not see the what I can only describe as BMX moguls on the road ahead that like hit and crashed at speed in February. That's the only thing that springs
You
to
didn't
mind.
see that coming. You're right.
Did not see those coming.
Which resulted in checkmate on a bike.
Heavily checkmate.
Yeah. Okay. Ronan broke one very nice track in the result of that, and a helmet, and gave himself a concussion as a result of that high speed thing he didn't see coming. So yeah, hopefully.
I feel like the Campag Super Record 13 we didn't really see that coming, did we? Like, I mean, it's only 2 years since they had the wireless one, and while that was a bit of a, I think we can only describe it as a flop in terms of its popularity. So it made sense that the new one came around so soon. I don't think we anticipated it much beforehand. I certainly heard rumors that they were working on bringing something back, but it seemed to come along very, very quickly. And like it's been a success so far.
And for them to bring that thumb shifter or a version of that thumb shifter back so quickly, like it was, I guess it is, not expected for a brand to sort of admit fault and fix the problem so quickly in terms of when something doesn't hit market acceptance. So yeah, a good owner of that award. Let's get on to something that's a little bit spicier now, and then this will just be a tease before we head into the member-only section of this episode. So things are only going to get spicier from here on. Again, if you want to keep listening, you need to be on our member-only feed, and to do that, head to escapecollective.com and check out our membership options there, and only takes a minute or so to join our member only feed that then ends up in your podcast player of choice. So not a heavy lift, but first spicy topic before we head over there: most overrated new trend. Does anyone have one to add? I've got one in my mind, but does anyone have one that sticks out, that is a trend that they think is overrated, overdone, overdiscussed, wrongly chosen? Who's got one? Josh?
Can we still say headset cable routing for mountain and gravel bikes, or is that too passe?
Sure. I mean, I think we can always just keep beating this horse. It's cool. been Good. Dead for 2 years, but it's
no, it's there. Not. It's not dead. It's still happening.
Yeah, I agree. I think increasingly so. I'm increasingly frustrated by this continuing to be a trend in off-road bikes. I think the ship has sailed for on-road bikes, but anywhere where the dirt and more frequent maintenance is involved, I'm fully in agreement with you. So Ronan, do you have one from a performance side of tech?
I mean, I might have said shorter cranks, but as Matt Appleman told me on the podcast we did about shorter cranks, that better bike fit is not a trend. So I don't really feel like I can pick that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I feel I personally have seen a lot of people going to shorter cranks without a bike fit.
It has been a trend just to do it, I think. Definitely.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's...
I think we're trending towards better bike fits.
Yeah. Suvi, I think I've heard you say a few things related to crank lengths. Is there I guess it's not overrated, but is there a trend there that comes to mind?
I don't know which way you're looking at it now. Like, what's overrated and what are we talking? What is the word that we're trying to give?
I think I always described it as a trend just because everybody seemed to be hopping on it since it emerged that Pogača and some others were riding shorter cranks. But I mean, 10 years ago, triathletes were doing the same thing. So it's not because of his shorter cranks that Pogača has won, 4 Tour de France now at this point. It's there are other factors that are important to his performance other than just his crank length.
I don't think shorter cranks are definitely not overrated. I think they're underrated in terms of bike spec still, because I think this year I've not had a single bike that has cranks. Well, I've not had a single bike that has cranks short enough for me as stock.
Yeah. What's your preferred length?
I would preferably ride 155s, but 165 is obviously the shortest. I did see actually Argon 18's Dark Matter, which I'm looking to get in to review. Their smallest frame size comes with 160, which is the first I've seen on as a bike. stock bike.
Yep, and it's probably worth noting your how tall are you?
164, 5'4".
164, which is not super short, but you tend to ride some of the smaller size bikes in most ranges.
Yeah.
And most of them have come with like what 170 cranks. Remember?
1725s as well if you're Bassa.
Oh no, yeah, that's unacceptable. So yeah, it's I think it's fair to say like the smaller size in a range these days shouldn't be coming with a 170 length crank when a lot of consumers are chasing shorter than that regardless of their height. So
but I think overall if we're talking about bike fit, that's got better and there's more emphasis on that. That it's still, I still don't feel that it's again aimed at the middle of the bell curve. The middle sizes are maybe getting better, the specs getting better to cater for those. But then the larger sizes, maybe things are too small, and then the smaller sizes, things are definitely too big. Like an endurance road bike, I don't think should come, the extra small size should not come with 40 centimeter wide handlebar, but it does. And so many brands still do that. And
my highly skeptical viewpoint of that is that it's cheaper for them to do so because they already have the stock for the bigger sizes and they're just reusing parts. I hope I'm wrong on that, but I can't see any other reason why they're doing that.
Yeah, just to be clear, I really don't think that shorter cranks are an emerging overrated trend on spec builds. I mean, they just, Suvi, as you've just explained, you're not getting the correct crank length, so it cannot be a trend when it's not happening.
Yeah, it would probably be less of an issue to have too short cranks than too long cranks. I don't know. Like, do you get the same issues from, I guess, yeah, but I don't think it's as much of an issue to spend more than have too long cranks. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that is the general consensus, and I think it's even more the case in the smaller sizes, which need these shorter cranks even more so because, if you're on a 54 and you want 165s, but it turns up with 170s, then the chances are that's already shorter than it used to be. Versus if you're on a 47 and you want 155s, but it's turning up with 170s or 172.5s. I mean, it just it's so much further beyond what you're looking for. So,
yeah. Well, my on that topic of fit, my for me the most overrated trend that I saw, and it is fit related, is wacky looking proprietary road handlebars. And I think this, while not the first example, the one that strongly comes to mind is the Colnago Y1RS handlebar. And my worry with this is that it is setting a fashion trend where more and more bikes are going to try and mimic these kind of non-conventional handlebars that actually make a bike design locked in to that handlebar in future. Because the stem and the handlebar and all that is integrated into one piece, and they can often achieve like increased reach they can often achieve increased stack through this handlebar system. So maybe the head tubes are lower than they should otherwise be. But most importantly, they're just not as easy to service. And dare I say, while we haven't seen failures, I would say we're probably opening ourselves up to a new wave of product failures and recalls, because these a lot of these bars are like an unsupported structure, and so I can imagine them, one crash would be enough to make these quite unsafe. So this is for me the trend that I'm thinking is overrated, and dare I say is about to make bikes a lot worse if I think it's about to go in the direction it's about to go. There you go. I've said my rant. Any arguments on that one?
No arguments.
No, I thought Ronan you might argue, saying it's a,
no,
it's a performance step we need to take. But okay.
No, I think it's anti-performance. I think it's detrimental to performance. You can't get into your body into you can't adjust them to allow for your body to get into a more aerodynamic position. And your body creates so much more drag than a handlebar and stem ever will. That as far as I'm concerned, in an ideal world, if we could get custom integrated handlebars that are perfectly aligned with the bar and stem that we've set up through aero testing, then sure, go for it. But while they force us down all sorts of other compromises down our throats, yeah, I'm with you, Dave. I have another one for you, though. The other most overrated new trend, I think, is aero bottles. And having done aero testing on aero bottles, I can tell you there are not much gains to be had in that area. It makes so much sense on paper when you see it and it just, oh yeah, I can see how that could work, but it's just such a messy area, and is so speed dependent and even just frame dependent that, yeah, I literally did 3, 4, 5 days worth of testing. It was always the time trial bottle that came out on top, like a fully fledged time trial bottle. But the other ones, you could, depending on the conditions, depending on the day, depending on the speed, depending on the frame, you mix them around in any order you want. And
and you're also adding all the downsides of having a proprietary shaped bottle that's harder to drink from, and that is vastly more expensive, and so on.
Yeah,
so on.
I mean, I'm not totally against the trend, but it's just not as slam dunk as it appears.
Dare I say the biggest benefit of them is a flat billboard surface for branding?
I think the biggest benefit is that you can remove a lot of tubing surface area, and so then you can claim a lower weight for your otherwise not aero bike. And like one of the benefits is you could take it or leave it as a consumer. If you want the aeroness or the supposed aeroness, yeah, sure, throw them on. If you just want normal bottles, then you're probably not missing out on all that much.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's interesting that all of our most overrated trends in our mind revolve around latest trends in road bikes rather than any other category. So, all right. Well, with that all said, I think let's step up the spiciness and head on over to the member only section. So that's the end of the free section. Thanks for joining us, and yeah, hope you come on over to the other side of the curtain. All right, let's continue the GWAs, but for members only.